We got some new details announced on the Slate truck. So we were both wrong, although I was closer on the pricing.
Yeah, we were very wrong.
We thought we were deciding between $27,500 and $28,000, and then they undercut us by a lot. $24,950, less than half the price of your average new car. It also makes it the cheapest new EV and the cheapest pickup for sale in the U.S.
And it made it so you had to put recorded on June 14th.
Yeah, on that short.
Yeah, I still see a lot of people saying that that's still overpriced for what you're getting, but I'll let you guys weigh in on that in just a second.
I agree.
No, not for fleet vehicles.
Bare bones electric 2-seater truck that can convert into an SUV. The basic vehicle has crank windows. It does not have a stereo or speakers, has no infotainment, no driver aids. It does have air conditioning and heating, it does have backup cameras, and it does have a five-star safety crash rating.
This is the high school kid's first car, but second owner.
Second owner, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I think this is, and you feel free to disagree with me. Mason and I were talking about this a little bit yesterday, but it occurred to me why I feel like this is such a good deal. Even though you can get a Maverick for like $2,000 or $3,000 more, and it's 4 doors and it has all this other stuff, right? The reason why I think this is such a good deal is that when you buy this car, you no longer have to buy your next car. You buy this car, and because it has so few things to go wrong, such simple mechanics, even the lithium iron phosphate battery will way outlast any lithium ion battery. This is a vehicle that you can buy and keep for as long as you could possibly want. And if your needs change, it becomes a 5-seater. It becomes your fun vehicle for the beach. It becomes whatever you need it to be. So whatever you need it is right now, maybe a truck, you spent $25,000 on it, or 28 or whatever after you got everything you wanted. And then you do not need to go buy your next car.
So it's
it'll last forever.
Minimalistic, but also at the same time gives you options.
But because of the reliability, this potentially could be the world's most reliable car.
Over 10 years, this will cost you nothing to drive. You damage a panel, you order a new one, you take off 4 bolts, you put it on.
There's no subscriptions.
There's no subscription. There's no gas.
There's no a window regulator to break.
There's no.
I don't think regular consumers think like this. They don't think like you guys. They're not going to buy it. No, people aren't going to buy it. If this was built with the incentive in mind.
Totally.
That you would come in at $18,500 and then you would spec it up to $25,000, and then it would be undercutting equivalently equipped vehicles in price and being an EV without the incentive. It doesn't make sense. What you're saying may be true, but broad-based consumers don't think that way, and they're not going to buy
fleet
it.
vehicles.
Yeah,
they're not going to do what Jordan's talking about.
I know. If I spec this out exactly the way I wanted, and it's under $26,000.
Well, you didn't want a Slate truck bad enough, so.
So there's over 200 accessories so far. Most of those, like 80% of them, are under $500, including the wraps. The wraps are $500. You know the pricing on those now. And if you want to do it yourself, it's the easiest car in the world to wrap. But if you want to have someone else do it, it's only another $500 to have someone do it professionally. So $1,000 to wrap a car. If you know about wrapping vehicles,
that's cheap.
That's
like
$3,000,
really cheap.
$4,000.
That's
to have a whole car
super
done.
cheap.
The SUV kits are the most expensive options. There's a square back, which is $5,000 more. Fastback, which is $7,000.
If you kept it as the pickup, I think that's where your best value is at.
Yeah, you can. If you get all of the options and spec it out day one, this thing will cost you in the upper 40s. But I don't think that's really the pitch. I think it's to buy just what you need today, and then you kind of evolve into it. And what people aren't recognizing is that you're not financing a $40,000 vehicle. You're financing a $25,000 vehicle. And then as your means and needs, you then buy the SUV kit, or you buy the decals, and you buy them. You're not financing those over 7 years. You're buying them in cash when you can afford it.
If you're most of America, you're putting it on a credit card. So I have
An Apple card.
I have $25,000 of the vehicle financed at 9%, and the other $10,000 financed at 24.9%.
I noticed a couple updates from the one we've been seeing this whole time, and then this basically production-ready version they showed off a couple days ago, or a couple weeks ago now. They moved the third tail lamp. It used to be on the back of the cab. They moved it to just above the handle on tailgate. And I think that's so that whether you have the truck or the SUV, that third taillight's always going to be visible.
That makes sense.
You don't have to move that.
Rewiring or whatever.
Makes me nervous about how far along they are in production that they can make a change that major, though.
It's actually not that major because most of the stuff that is done in installing these components is pin to pin. So like that roll cage in the back that you can install, that has like pins, like brass pins that
Right,
touch.
but they have to run lines to the tailgate for the brake light to work. And they
Yeah,
have to
but
have a
that's
new
not a change that they're
tailgate.
making just now. They probably made that change months ago, and we're just now seeing it.
Those that roll cage has airbags in it for the rear passengers. And they also, I watched an interview with a guy who did the accessories and whatnot, and he showed how the order in which you have to install things prevents other things from going in. So you can't get the seats to bolt in until the roll cage is on. And
Not with that attitude.
the roll cage can't get bolted in until you have the side panels inside, like the armrests for the rear passengers. Like, they made it idiot proof, and they made it so that they can guarantee that if somebody is back there, the seat belts are installed and the airbags are functioning.
It's an IKEA car.
Another thing I noticed they changed, they dropped one of the batteries. They used to have a long distance and a short distance battery. Now it's one, and because of a different battery chemistry they're going with, they managed to up that battery capacity. So it's 205 miles of range, but they still kept that sub $25,000 price.
And the main problem, the reason 300 miles is such a sticking point for people is because you can't actually use all of your battery charge in an electric car. 300 miles, you only use the 60% in the middle. You don't use the bottom 20 or the top 20. With lithium iron phosphate, you can charge it all the way. You can use all of it.
The crank windows also, a big thing they talked about is that's one of the options. You can upgrade it to an electric window. That's not an option anymore. You can't do that. So they're all still crank windows. You
Cool.
can't change it to electric.
Cool.
The production facility in Warsaw, Indiana can make, when it's at full capacity, 150,000 trucks a year. The CEO says all they need to sell is 80,000 trucks to break even. They only need to sell 80,000. And if they can do that in 2027, they will actually be cash flow positive.
It's usually positive on the third or fourth year.
And if they do manage to do that, they will consider going public in 28.
But they would have to be able to find 80,000 customers in 1 year.
Well, that's the thing. They have 180,000 pre-orders they confirmed. So will 80,000 of those convert? It sounds like they have the production capacity to meet that, but will enough of those 180,000 reservations actually convert to orders?
You reserved.
I reserved. Jordan's taking over my reservation.
I'm not.
He will.
No, I'm not.
All right.